Good morning, beloveds. I was admiring the cat in the sunbeam. Sugar's, I don't know, she's still acting a little bereft today. And so she came into the room with me, and there's a square of a sunbeam, or maybe it's more of a rhombus of a sunbeam. And so she's tucked her feet up underneath her with her face in the sunbeam. So there's something about cats and sunbeams that's just special. All right. So Foster's in here with his shoulder up on the heating pad and the rest of him not. So it's like, it's still not cold enough for the heating pad, but... All right, it is November 10th. Our title is The Divine Presence is With Me. The first quote is, "Now the Lord that is Spirit, and where the Spirit is, the Lord is, there is liberty." And that is 2 Corinthians 3:17. The next quote is, "There is an originating and all-comprehending principle in my words, and an authoritative law for the things which I enforce." And that's Taoism. Okay. We all desire to experience liberty, and to know that the all-comprehensive mind is in the very words we speak. The creative power of Spirit is in our word in such a degree as we become conscious of Spirit. Then we have a concept of liberty, of peace, and of power, accompanying our words, a divine authority imparting its wisdom to our thoughts. We know that thoughts of love overcome thoughts of hate. We know that peace will heal confusion, and that a sense of strength will overcome the belief in weakness. All of our living should be based upon the supposition that good overcomes evil, not by combating it, but by transcending it. The non-combativeness of Spirit is the principle back of the law of non-resistance, which Jesus so plainly taught. The Spirit has no opposites. It is always perfect and free and loving. There is no difference in essence between our spirit and the Spirit. The spirit of people is the Spirit of God in people. The two are one. The peace and the power of the divine presence are with me today. Therefore, I walk calmly, knowing that I am enveloped by the presence. I am fully conscious that my word, operating from the authority of the Spirit, liberates every bondage, whether it be in myself or in others. My word, expressing the principle of good, is automatically and irresistibly fulfilled. And if you haven't guessed by now, it's definitely E.H. It's definitely Ernest Holmes. He's the only one that talks like that. Okay. The creative power of the Spirit is in our word in such a degree as we become conscious of Spirit. That right there, that's kind of I would say the key sentence in there. And that's one of the key sentences, really honestly, to Ernest Holmes. What he said is, there's a creative principle, there is a divine patterning mind, there is good in this world. And the more aware of it, the creative principle, the creative power, the divine pattern, the divine mind, the good, the more conscious of that we are, the more creative use we will make of it because we are conscious of it. There's that young quote that Reverend Jesse really likes about being blown about by the winds of fate because we're unaware. And I can't remember what it is, but basically, men will be blown about by the winds and call it fate. It's a Carl Jung quote, and because there is power all around us, it's constantly flowing around us and constantly flowing through us. And when we unconsciously use it, we get interesting results, depending on how much emotional power we put behind the words that we are using. And notice I said emotional power. And that's why when we are vehemently opposed to things, we are emotionally against them, they happen. Because spirit doesn't judge. All spirit says is, well, there's a lot of power there. Clearly, this is what they want. And so it behooves us to pay attention to where our emotions are. And the more upset we get about something, the more likely we can be to bring it into our experience. And it's the same with the other side. It's like the more excited we are about something, the more likely we are to bring it into our experience, because that is where our emotions are centered. Okay. So upset and excitement, it's the same amount of power. And the spirit does not judge between the two, going, well, you're really upset about this, so clearly you don't want it. No, the spirit goes, well, you're very emotional about this. Clearly this is what you want. The spirit doesn't weigh that. And so that's why we were given free choice, so that we could choose to be really upset about something or to be really excited about something. And which leads us back into, turn the other cheek. And a whole lot of things have been said about that. And a lot of nonsense has been said about that quote. But what it is I can choose to be upset about this, or I can be excited about this. And which one is spirit going to respond to? Well, where is most of my emotional power going? If I'm more upset than I'm excited, then this is where the emotional power is going. And if I'm more excited than I am upset, this is where my emotional power is going. And so that's the consciousness that Ernest is talking about. It's like, the more conscious you are that all there is God, the more conscious you are that it's all spirit and that there is a power there's a power flowing through you, the more conscious you make your decisions, the better results you're going to get. I mean, talk to any scientist. If a scientist goes in there and just slapdashes things together, he doesn't get replicatable results because he's not exactly sure. That's why it's one of the reasons why I'm an excellent baker and not such a great cook. Okay. Because in baking, I have to pay attention and measure things. Okay. And so I'm consciously paying attention. And I'm not saying that cooks don't consciously pay attention. Okay. But there's an art to cooking, and it's still full of emotion. So, and baking can also be full of emotion, but in baking, I carefully measure things. I weigh things, I have appropriate sized pans. So there's that. And so I'm extremely conscious of those things. Now with cooking, there's a lot of emotional power there too. So we can make the arguments for both, because they do things by feel, or taste. It's like, well, I feel like throwing this in today. Let me taste that. Oh, that's amazing. So there's a lot, but again, it's still conscious. It's just a different kind of consciousness. So don't let me talk bad about any cooking, but if you've got a cook who's just throwing things in and not paying attention, or if you've got a baker who is not, again, paying attention and not measuring things, then again, neither way are you going to get replicatable results, because the cook or the baker was not conscious. Okay. So that is the argument here, the assessment here that Ernest is making. It's like, look, the mind that you are using is the mind of God. The more conscious you are about that, the better use you will make of it, the more replicatable results you will get. Know who you are. Know who you are. So that's, I'm going to lean back into that sentence again. The creative power of spirit is in our word in such a degree as we become conscious of spirit. And again, that's the point of regular spiritual practice, to make regular content with the spirit, with the source of your own being. And the more time you spend in the presence of the source of your own being, the more conscious you are of it, the better use you will make of it. All right. I don't think I can lean any harder into that. Ernest is not always clear and concise. Because he reads a lot, and so he'll use concepts and terms that don't make a whole lot of sense to us. But like today, the more conscious you are of the source of your own being, the better use you will make of the power that is within you. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to become more conscious of the spirit within us, in whatever way that looks like. All right, which is the point of spiritual practice. And there are classes upon classes upon classes of different kinds of spiritual treatment. There's a new one. It's not new. Centering. I don't tend to think about centering a lot. But it's been coming up since I've started teaching advanced studies in consciousness. Centering is one of those. And that's exactly what it is. It's about going within to the source of your own being, centering yourself within that divine space, and remembering who you are. So that is your mission today. Absolutely your mission today. Your mission, and it's the same mission every day. Know who you are. Know what you come from. Notice I said what, not where. You come from the divine spirit. You are a divine pattern. You are a divine spark. Okay? Know what you come from and make good choices. Okay? The other mission is the same mission that I always give you, which is a spiritual practice. And it's super important for me. It's very important for me, especially the further we move into the holiday series of the holiday season, which is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. The holiday season can bring up a whole lot of negative emotion for people. And so the more gentle and loving and kind and compassionate you can be with yourself, the more gentle and loving and kind and compassionate you can be with other people. Practice on yourself. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. And the more you practice on yourself, the more you create that bank and that habit and that default setting and that first response. So when you meet people who need a little extra, as I said, we are headed into the holiday season, you will have a bank to draw from. You'll have plenty to share. You are a beloved child of God. You are connected to an infinite source of love, kindness, and compassion. Practice on yourself. Okay? It is about self-care. Absolutely about self-care. I am completely open about that. And it is also about joy. Because I tell you, you can take a deep breath. You can take a walk. You can take a nap. But you can also eat dessert first. Okay? Make good choices. Don't eat a dessert so big that you don't want the healthy dinner. But you know what? Enjoy life. It's part of the reason we're here. Part of our purpose is definitely to enjoy life. One of the qualities of God is joy. So we get to be a part of that. All right. I think I'm good. I think I've said what I needed to say. So here's where I remind you to do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like, to drink plenty of water. It's still going to be in the 80s today. So definitely hydrate. To get that early in your day bright light. It'll help to reset your hormones. It'll reset those circadian rhythms. You'll have more energy during the day and you will sleep better at night. It's science. You can look it up. And then take the words of Ernest Holmes and open the windows of your soul and allow that breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven now. Right? The more conscious we become of the source of our own being, the spirit within us. And sometimes it does require us to open those windows. And the only person holding those windows closed is ourselves. And the conditioning that we've been taught. But, that's a whole different conversation. So we can throw those windows open at any time. We can allow heaven to breathe into us. We can allow spirit to breathe into us. To remind us who we are. Spirit will never abandon us. Spirit cannot abandon us because we are made of that spirit. All right. I take that very comforting. Not that Spirit would ever consider it, but you know, the fact that it can't. All right. And as always, we can take him as advice and look for the good and praise him. Big believer in that. Love that. Love that. Gandalf has that quote. It's like, it's the big things. It's never the big things that fix the world. It's the small things. It's the small things, the small goods, the small kindness that build up into this avalanche. Okay, so here's the social media part. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on, so you can check all that out. We're definitely both on YouTube, so, you know. And there's a lot of really great stuff on YouTube. There's a lot of really funny stuff on YouTube, too, so, you know. Be conscious of your choices, which is what I say pretty much every day. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact. And the hot links are hot. There is a hot link that will take you directly to the Creative Life Spiritual Center playlists, soul sessions. And if you want inspiration, that's a good place to go. So, all right. So now is where I tell you to have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, a fantastical day, an awe-filled day, a wondrous day. I'm going to break out the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are God in action. You are Spirit in motion. You are the listening heart and the loving heart of God in this world. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased. You are a divine spark that can set the world aflame. That is who you are. All right? So, take care of yourself. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you're loved, and I will see you next time.